Last time on the Randomized Nuzlocke.
But I'll teach you what they really mean. Go beyond. Plus.
Yeah, gang, we did it. We barely came out ahead and ended up scoring ourselves the Firium Z at great cost to ourselves. The game was even kind enough to give us one final slap across the face as we were making our way down the mountain, and Thunderchan, our baby Electabuzz, remember I told you that Thunderchan wouldn't really have much of a chance to make an impact on our team? Yeah, this is where she was deleted by a Dragonite. So we're in danger right now. We have just a Breloom left, and there is not really a lot of wiggle room for us in terms of our team. We don't have any catches left in this area. We just have to grab what we can from our box and hope for the best. We head north through the tunnel. Quick meetup with Dulce and Zossie happens here, and we are going to make our way towards Mallow's trial. We also meet Colress here, legit one of my favorite characters, and one of the true proponents and champions of Mega Evolution. Love this guy, and love him even more since he ended up giving us Flame Charge. Our catch of this area is a Monferno. Yes, the evolved form of Chimchar, one of the best starters from Diamond and Pearl. Definitely going to become a member of our team. We need something a little stronger. His name will be Wukong, and at this moment in time, I expect great things from him. Trainer after trainer falls to us on this route. They don't really send out anything too threatening, and things really do begin to look up. The biggest moment of hope I've had on this entire island comes up shortly after, as we find the fossil guy. You see, we actually have a couple of fossils right now that we've collected in previous videos, and with the way I have the game set up to randomize, these fossils can actually end up reviving into absolutely any possible Pokemon. So there's a lot of potential lurking in these fossils. First thing we end up getting is a Pyroar, who I'm going to name after the legendary Dot Hack character, Pyros. Yeah, bet you didn't expect a Dot Hack reference in your Pokemon video, did ya? Our second fossil nets us a Scyther, yet another potential great Eviolite user, which we sadly still don't have yet. Would really love a chance to be able to snag some of that. We are going to name this man Kusarigama, because that's what he is, living Kusarigama. And our final fossil is a complete dud, granting us a Clamperl. See, if you want to evolve Clamperl, you need to trade it, which we can't really do in this run. So, unfortunately, kind of a garbage mon for us. We're going to go ahead and name him Clamps and hope we never need to rely on him. The next area has the motel, and my favorite piece of dialogue in the entire Pokemon series. This is my favorite interaction in the whole game. You just walk in the Gladian's room, get out. Honestly, I just really don't think there's a better interaction than that. And yet again, AKALA Island reminds us it is a terrible, awful place that nobody should ever go to. We end up going behind the motel, and we end up fighting this golfer. Now, you should probably make it a habit to never talk to a golfer ever, but this is just going to go ahead and drive that point home. This golfer sends out a Riolu. We send out Loom thinking this isn't going to be a big deal, but Riolu counters and immediately kills Loom. Yes, I know, we had that great animated sequence with Loom, and I really thought that Loom was going to be our anime protagonist for the rest of the playthrough, and I bet you did too. But no, Loom is just unceremoniously killed off like your average Attack on Titan character. The same horrific fate extends to Lopunny, who is defeated by another golfer's Bagon. That is our two currently strongest Pokemon unceremoniously defeated by some random golfers chilling outside of a motel. Things are getting even worse. I finally thought we were on an upswing at this point, but AKALA Island once again shows its true colors as a terrible, awful, no good, very bad place. With our team weekend and us relying on secondaries, we really have no choice but to force ourselves to go ahead and take Mallow's trial. There is still a chance the randomizer can bless us at this point and give us some not too difficult encounters. That is really what I am banking on right now. We end up getting a little bit of a reprieve as we find an amulet coin just chilling in this little area here. So that's great. We've had some money troubles as we were going through here, and I am very, very happy that we are finally going to have that alleviated, even if it's just a little bit. After solving the pseudo-wodo puzzle designed for 10-year-olds, it's time for us to take on the totem challenge. Now, the way this totem challenge works is if you ended up taking stuff from the wrong bush or the wrong pseudo-wodo, which I didn't really look this up to begin with, well, you are going to run into a situation where that Pokemon is going to fight you before the totem Pokemon, and you will have no chance to heal in between. We first end up facing off against a Gengar, pretty scary, but we end up taking it down. And our next Pokemon is a Delmise, again, pretty scary, but again, we managed to take it out. But here is the point where RNG giveth, now RNG has to taketh away. We end up facing one of the strongest totem Pokemon we possibly could. A freaking totem Flygon with a massive defense increase. Now, I could show you a long, drawn-out battle, sort of put some music to it, show you that, but it's really not a challenge that is worthy of us putting to music. We got destroyed, handily, completely and utterly. Our entire team was absolutely decimated by this Flygon. They deserve no praise. There is no heroism here. It is just a complete slaughter. This is undoubtedly the lowest I've felt in this entire run, even lower than when we ended up fighting the Perugly previously. Our team is down to almost nothing at this point. What's more, our Pyroar ends up getting taken out by a random wild Wobbuffet as we are trying to go ahead and train the team. The Pokemon that we end up catching is an Igglybuff. Not really something that can help us in the immediate future. All I can do is give it a Soothe Bell and hope against hope that Igglybuff is going to end up becoming very useful. I'm down here. I'm out. I feel like giving up. But then I end up coming across something that ends up honestly saving the run. Something that ends up turning into an exploit that I didn't even know was going to possibly happen.
Dear God, it's beautiful.
See, we find Shaman here, and you may have thought this Pokemon was unimportant, but we also have Skibidi Riz, the Skidoo. See, Skibidi Riz has an ability called Sap Sipper. What this means is when he gets hit with a grass attack, she will end up gaining a massive attack boost instead of taking damage. Shaman's only damaging attacks are grass type attacks. And upon defeating Shaman, we get over 1200 EXP. So this was it. This was our last-ditch effort. I thought really hard and I concocted a plan. The only way we were possibly going to be able to defeat Flygon was if we took our little Bonesweet, who we thought was never going to make an impact on our team, and train her all the way up to be a mighty Serena. Bon was our only hope. So we put our best foot forward, started a montage, and got to grinding. And after single-handedly turning Shaman into a legendary Pokemon by eliminating the rest of the population except for one, we are left with an evolution into a Serena. We have it, a fighting chance against the Flygon. This is it. This is our stopgap. This is our last-ditch effort. If we don't end up beating Flygon with this team, then the run is over. Everything is done. We're not going to get past the second island, and the randomizer has all been for naught. But our training montage ends up bearing fruit. The Flygon, of course, tries to confuse us, but we have a little trick up our sleeve of our own, and that is Bonbon's Teeter Dance. Using the Teeter Dance, we are able to completely confuse the Flygon and use that opportunity to just deal as much damage to it as possible. Flygon does not really end up getting a hit off of us at all, and with enough Trop Kicks, we're able to go ahead, take Flygon down, and then the helper Pokemon's a Marshtomp. Really not that good against Bonbon, and Bonbon single-handedly saves our entire run. I loved Serena as a Pokemon before this, but my love has only grown exponentially after having this experience in the Nuzlocke, and I think that's part of the beauty of Nuzlocke. These little moments, these little exciting factors outside of your standard Pokemon game, these huge spikes of difficulty that can lead to you completely loving a Pokemon that you would not have taken a second look at. It's little moments like these that truly make this way of playing the Pokemon games special. With Totem Flygon cleared out, we end up getting our Gracium Z, and more importantly, we finally have a chance to make a catch in this area. So before we make our way to the Dimensional Research Lab, we've of course got to see which Pokemon shows up. That Pokemon is Duat. Yes, we previously had a Samurott, and now we have a chance to get one again. We will name her Cha-Cha and hope against hope that she stays alive long enough to evolve into Samurott. And on our way down to Route 6, things got really dicey when a trainer ended up randoming into a Haxorus. Our Skidoo almost bit the dust here, but I wasn't going to lose this Skidoo by a long shot at this point. So we sent out a Pokemon that we could afford to lose, that being Clamps. And of course, Clamps get decimated rather quickly. Bonbon has to come in and clean everything up. We're down to 5 Pokemon again, but not out. We take our detour to the Dimensional Research Lab and learn about the existence of Ultra Beasts. Something I really hope we don't encounter as our encounter, because we don't have any Beast Balls to be able to catch them. That is really one of the most dangerous things about this Nuzlocke. If we enter into an area with an Ultra Beast, well, until we get Beast Balls, it is essentially just EXP, and we miss out on our catch for that area. But there's hope in the form of Professor Oak. See, in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, if you collect the totem stickers, you are able to get totem versions of Pokemon. With the way we got the randomizer set up, this is just going to be a random Pokemon gifted to us from Oak. Normally this is a Gumshoes, but we end up getting a Vileplume. Still, so many grass types that we have received in this run. If this was a grass type only Nuzlocke run, we would be swimming in Pokemon, and we would have our pick of the litter. We're going to name our Vileplume Cordyceps. Moving into Diglett Tunnel, we managed to catch not a Diglett, but a Psyduck, a Pokemon I have a very good relationship with. Did you know that my first shiny I ever encountered was a Psyduck? Fun little fact for you. So I've got a soft spot in my heart for this Pokemon. We will name her Aquafina. And as has been the trend for AKALA Island, the Rock Tunnel giveth and the Rock Tunnel taketh away. This worker ends up sending out a Quilladin, who is using our old Donphans rollout strategy. And our Skidoo just cannot keep up. You served us well. I will honestly never forget you. I really wish you could have gotten the extra level to evolve into a Go-Goat. All of these things would have been amazing things to happen for our playthrough. But instead, you're just going to have to get taken out by a Quilladin. So many main character points these Pokemon have seen just to be unceremoniously removed from the checkerboard. Entering our next area, we meet Looker, another nice callback to an older Pokemon game, and he gives us a Thunderstone. I'm really hoping that becomes helpful down the line. Now, one thing we are going to do here to replenish our Pokemon, thankfully, since we consider things like berries and staged encounters just bonus catches, is we are going to take on the Ditto 5. If you don't know, the Ditto 5 is a little mini quest here where you can end up catching 5 different Ditto with some different IVs and stat distributions that are mainly designed for ease of use in breeding. Basically a way for you to breed some Pokemon very, very easily. Though in this case, all of these are completely random encounters. So we end up finding not a Ditto in the police station, but a Duosion. Now, I haven't personally used this evolution line in like any Pokemon game I played, but apparently this Pokemon's a really good Calm Mind user, so this ends up being an excellent catch in addition to our team. We catch her in a pretty pink Pokeball, and we will name her Duolingo. Yes, I know it's not an owl, but it works, okay? With the first of the Ditto 5 down, we make a detour to knock out some trainers, and finally, at the absolutely insane level of 36, Iggy finally evolves into Jigglypuff. Now, maybe someday I will be able to get a Moonstone. I have not seen one yet, but if we see one in a shop at any point, you know we are picking that bad boy up, as many as possible. Also, this guy we find in the next area has an Electros, which I'm a little jealous of. Did you know Electros is the only Pokemon that doesn't have any weaknesses? There's a little Pokemon fun fact for you. We managed to hit our catch for the area in here, which is a Quilladin, and thankfully it's night, so we can go ahead and use this Dusk Ball. We will name her Quilliam. Yes, I know it's a girl, but Quilliam is a perfect name for a Quilladin, so we're using it no matter what. Fighting our way into this next area for another catch to replenish our team, the gods smile upon us once again, as what pops out but a freaking Kafagrigus. This is one of my favorite Pokemon from the Black and White era, so it's not even just for a meta reason, getting someone who can use Will-O-the-Wisp and Hex together that I want to get this Pokemon, but it's also a nostalgia reason because I used this Pokemon when I tackled the Elite Four in that era. We are going to go ahead and name her Hatshepsut and be very, very grateful. Stumbling into town, we find a cover fossil. Again, I'm going to treat this like a randomized boon encounter. Yes, I could buy as many of these as possible and end up filling up our team with Pokemon retrieved from cover fossils, but that would be cheesy and unfair and completely break the spirit of the Nuzlocke. So I'm only going to buy one cover fossil. This is going to be a little treat. We are going to go and get the Pokemon from it right away, and there will be no more cover fossils purchased from this Pokemon Center for the rest of the run. Don't worry, because it wasn't even anything really good. It was just a Basculin. We can't get a Basculegion in this game, so that's only kind of sort of okay. We're going to name her Bask after the legendary Bask Ohm from Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam. And now we gotta take our chance to catch the rest of the Ditto 5, and we'll go through this quickly. We ended up catching a Mantike, who we named Dasani. Also, quick aside, but I wanted to share this creepy moment where you can just like go up into this random house and sleep in some girl's bed, and like your trainer smells it a little. I found this very unsettling. I don't know why this is in the game. I don't know why I'm allowed to do this, but the game totally lets me do this. Did anyone else find this weird? Was it just me? Our next Pokemon from the Ditto 5 quest is a freaking Blastoise. This is amazing. I will absolutely take this. This is a boon. We are going to name him Tortress, and he will absolutely join our party. Oh my gosh, you've no idea how jazzed I was to find Blastoise hiding out in here of all places. Our next Ditto 5 check is a Duskull, who you're going to name after Skullbriar the Walking Grave, a Magic the Gathering card. And our final Ditto 5 is Olivia disguised, and it's actually a Ghastly, which I ended up defeating immediately. Oh well. We ended up getting some nice Pokemon from the Dittos, so we can go ahead and part with something that will never be able to evolve into Gengar. We meet up with a member of the Aether Foundation here who is actually a terrible, awful human being that refuses to fight and relies on a random child to take care of his business for him. I guess no big deal. We'll end up defeating this Marshtomp. I'm not super worried about it. Bon, kick that thing in the face.
Son of a bitch!
Though those grunts, of course, can't be the bosses of this area, and we end up meeting Team Admin Skull Plumeria. Team Skull Admin, Team Admin Skull, whatever. I'm distracted by her incredible design. Seriously, Plumeria was one of the best designs of this era. Really, really like what they've got going on with her eyeliner there. She ends up sending out some strong Pokemon against us, like a Dragalge, but we end up wiping up the rest of her team quite handily. Now in front of the ruins, we fight Olivia for our Kahuna battle. I expected this to be just as terrible as the rest of AKALA Island, but fortunately for us, it was probably the easiest thing we've come to face with on this island. A Swirlix, a Basculin, and a Trubbish. I mean, I like most of those Pokemon from just a design standpoint, but strong picks for a Kahuna's team, they are not, and we are able to just completely and utterly sweep them aside. I think this was the game showing pity and mercy on us because we had such a rough go of it in the middle of the island, but I mean, we can't be sure. Just know that I was very happy that this encounter was as simple as it was. And with Olivia beaten, that is AKALA Island conquered, which means we can make our way to the Aether Paradise, which I'm gonna go ahead and lump in with the next Islands challenge, since I consider it kind of a separate area. But I mean, with a Kahuna defeated, AKALA Island is beaten. We had a really, really rough go of it here. This is part of the reason why I was so, I guess, hesitant to initially do Nuzlocke, was because situations like this could happen. But much like going through your average very difficult video game, I ended up getting more joy out of finally surmounting this hill. Yes, it was frustrating. It was absolutely frustrating seeing my entire team wiped out of portions of it. It was frustrating thinking that all of the work I had put into this Nuzlocke might have ended up being for naught if we ended up getting wiped out. But the fact that we made it through, the fact that we've got a relatively powerful Pokemon team now, and we're ready to take on the rest of this, I've actually got a bit of hope that we are going to be able to beat the Elite Four on my very first Nuzlocke. I really, really do. If we can get through this, I really do feel like we can get through anything. We've just got to make sure that we are as prepared as possible, and I've got to learn to take fewer risks. Let me know some of the biggest risks you had to take in a Nuzlocke down in the comments section below, and let me know what some of your favorite Pokemon from your Nuzlockes were. We're going to go ahead and head on to the next one as soon as we possibly can. Thank you all for joining us through this journey through AKALA Island. Had to break it up into a couple of parts, but overall, I think it ended up being worth it, considering the challenges we had to face. Hope you all have a phenomenal day, and I'll see you all in the next one.